In this demonstration, we'll explore some of the basic setup and maintenance functions in the LSSe64 Financial Management System. This includes things like account numbers, definitions for financial statements, vendors, and some discussion about general system capacities. If you're interested in things like transaction entry or financial management dashboards, we have some other videos covering those topics as well. So let's start with account numbers. From our code definition screen, just click Accounts, and we get a list of our GL chart of accounts. There's an account number, description, and the type of account listed here. We can search for an account by typing in part of the account description, or we can type in part of the account number to narrow down the search that way. So let me show you how to add a new account real quick. Pick an account number to add, 1251, click Add, and put in a description. Let's say this is an account for a new company car the firm just purchased. Put in a description, and it is an asset. If this was to be a liability account or an income account, you'd select the appropriate class, but this is in fact an asset. Click Save and Close, and we're done. That's all there is to it. I can search on the new account description and see it listed right there. So let's pause for just a minute and talk about these numbers. All of the account numbers you see listed here that I'm using are 4 digits in length. Your firm gets to decide whether you want to use a 4-digit account number or even a 5-digit account number. Most firms 4 is plenty. Also, these numbers don't really mean anything other than as a way to reference a particular account. Some of the older systems would tie the account number to some sort of report grouping for subtotals on your financial statements, that sort of thing. That's not the case with LSSe64. So it's simply a number that you get to choose to assign to a particular account. And with 4 digits, you can have about 9,000 accounts. If you go to 5 digits, you can have about 90,000 accounts. It's because account numbers can't start with 0. So with 4 digits, you have 1,000 through 9999 available. Now, in addition to the account numbers that we were looking at, you can also attach departments, offices, and suffixes to the account. So that makes the possibilities for account numbering nearly endless. So if any given account in the system, you can also attach a department number at the end, or an office, or a suffix. And suffixes generally represent individuals within the firm. Departments can be 2 digits in length, so the system handles up to 99 departments. The same is true of offices. The system is capable of separating accounts by a maximum of 99 offices, and suffixes are a 5-digit maximum, so you can have nearly 100,000 individual suffix codes per account. Now, if you're a small firm and you just want to keep things really simple, you don't have to deal with departments, offices, and suffixes. I've only entered them here and shown them to you for demonstration purposes. You can keep a real simple, basic 4-digit account number structure and be just fine. It's just for the larger firms that do want to separate things by departments and so forth. I wanted to show that the system has full capability of doing so. Now, we added a new account just a minute ago, and I want to show you how that's going to show up on the financial statements. For that, we go into reporting groups, and I'm going to collapse everything down into the 5 basic categories you see here. And the account number we added was an asset account, so I'm going to expand assets, and here we see that new account number just hanging out under the title for assets. If we were to print a balance sheet right now, this is the order in which you'd see the various accounts printed and subtotaled, and I don't really want that account number all by itself up there. I would much rather see it listed under fixed assets. So I don't have a vehicles category within here. I'm going to go ahead and add one. So for that, I'll say insert a new subgroup within. We give it a name, and we tell the system what to print as far as a title goes on the report and for a subtotal. So now we've added a new subgroup underneath fixed assets. And I'm just going to take this account number and drag it down here and drop it on that subgroup. Now we have the account listed under vehicles. And I really don't want vehicles at the end. I'd much rather see it listed right under electronic equipment. So for that, I can just drag this whole group right up to there. And I don't want to move it within the electronic equipment. I want it listed immediately below it. So there you have it. That's all there really is to defining your financial statements. There's some more advanced features that you can take a closer look at if you want to give our office a call. Somebody can provide you with a live demonstration and answer your questions and show you some of the more advanced features of the reporting system. Save the changes, and we're done. So now let's take a quick look at budgets. For that, we'll click on Budgets and pick an account. We'll pick Photocopy Supplies. Now, if your account is controlled or allows the attachment of department numbers, office numbers, and suffix numbers, those fields would be available here. In my simple system, Photocopy Supplies is not controlled by any of those, so I'm just going to budget by the 4-digit account. You can budget at the base account level, but you can also budget in detail department, office, and suffix. Click Add, and the budget screen appears for my Photocopy Supplies. Now we have a couple ways to enter the budget. One is to add each monthly budgeted amount in the fields below. So you can do that one at a time, specifying different or varying amounts for each month. The other way to do this is towards the top there's an autofill, and we can click that and we can just specify a fixed monthly amount of, say, $165. Or we could put it in as an annual amount, and the system will distribute it across all 12 months evenly. So let's say we'll budget $3,500 for the entire year. I'm going to save that, and now all the accounts for which I budgeted we see in the list above, which is just this one account at this point. And if we open this back up, you can see that the system divided $3,500 for the year equally into all 12 months, with a little bit of a difference in December to make up for some rounding. And that's really all there is to budgeting. So the last thing we'll look at in this demonstration is vendor maintenance. For that, we'll click on Vendors, and I'm going to retrieve vendor number 1 that I've already set up in the system. And here we have the vendor form. And I'll just go through these fields quickly so you can see what they are. We have the name. There's a spot for an attention, open date, close date. If this vendor is to receive a 1099, you can check that box so the system will print a 1099 at year end. And if it is a 1099, you can select the default 1099 type so that when you do accounts payable later, it will autofill with this default type, which you can change at any time, of course. There's a spot for tax ID number. You can specify the formatting for it. There's a field here that lets you specify a default when entering multiple transactions into accounts payable. If you've done so, the system can automatically summarize them all onto a single check when you go to print checks. And something dealing with client expenses, whether or not you want to include the vendor's name in the description that gets created automatically that goes over to the billing system. Spot for a contact person, comments, and then some more advanced, these fields down here are for larger firms that have more advanced chart of account structures. Then a contact information tab. Here you can list any number of addresses. You can add as many addresses as you want to any vendor. This is common. This is a common contact form used throughout our system for clients and matters and conflicts and things like that. Phone numbers, email addresses, websites, and so on. And then over here we have a Save Transactions tab. This is really handy because it lets you create sort of a template that can be used when entering new accounts payable transactions. So you can give it a name. You can put in your default GL reference, description, something to print on the check memo, and then over on the account distribution tab, you can pre-list all the account numbers, and even if you know the amounts, if this is a constant monthly amount, you can fill that in as well. And you can create as many default templates or saved transactions as you want for any given vendor. And then finally, there's a tab for W-9 information. If you send out and receive W-9 forms with your vendors, when they come back, you can record that information on this tab here. And that is vendor maintenance. So that may not have been all that exciting to a lot of people, but what it does allow for is the basis for more exciting things like financial management inquiries that we'll show you in another video. I'll give you a quick peek here. Being able to do things like charts and graphs online, showing allocations for office supplies by office, that sort of thing. So it's all important, getting the basics down first, and I've shown you that, and we'll move on next to transactions and financial management inquiries. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to give our office a call at 1-800-331-4122. Thanks again. Bye.